tonight, and good evening. Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome back to the Timekeeper Pint. As always, I'm Java, episode number 3, and I am super excited to do this episode. Got a fantastic beer to talk about tonight and watch a brand that it just really goes without saying, and we're going to get into it here in a second. I got a little history for you and just some really cool stuff. Even a personal experience I had with the brand. Again, personal experience dealing with their corporate, their communications, and their customer relations department, and I cannot wait to share that. It was amazing. I do not own one of their watches, but let's start with the beer. Tonight, got New Belgium's Voodoo Ranger IPA, Imperial IPA. This is a 9% beer, so it's going to be pretty strong, if you will. I do want to just go over into it. I definitely like this beer a lot. It's not something I would drink on a daily basis, but a little bit cooler out tonight. As you can see behind me, getting a little darker now. But nice, good little day at work. And, I'm just excited to talk about the beer and the watch tonight, though. That's why we're here, right? All right, so anyways, this beer's got some really great citrus notes going on. I will say there is a good malt backbone to it. It's pretty strong like bull. And I think that backbone definitely lends itself to it. It's a pretty easy drinker for being a 9% beer. If you're watching this, you've ever had a higher beer like this, higher ABV, they can hit pretty hard. This one can be a little dangerous. So if you have one you never had before, enjoy it, be careful. New Belgium, the brewery that does brew this amazing beer. Thanks, New Belgium. Just wanted to go ahead and give them a little shout out. Cool, really cool story, actually. They were founded back in 1988, and their idea came from, I can't remember the founder's name, so I'm so sorry. But biking through Belgium, and they wanted to bring that spirit back to Colorado, so they did, and the first ever New Belgium brewery was started in Colorado. So to get into the watch now, actually, let's just take a sip real quick. All right, we talked about it. It's got to sip it, right? Cheers, y'all. If you have a drink as well, cheers. If not, cheers anyways. All right, so the watch, the brand we're talking about tonight, just to give one little hint before I drop the name, it is in the world, the most widely recognized luxury brand out there. I'm talking about Rolex, y'all. We're talking about the king, the crown jewel, Rolex. Let's start with a little Rolex history, because I actually love history of watches and history. I think it's pretty cool. Rolex was started by Hans Wilsdorf back in 1905. Actually, two gentlemen, Hans Wilsdorf and his brother-in-law, Alfred Davis. So when they started Rolex, it was not known as Rolex. It was known as Wilsdorf and Davis. They did actually start that back in London, England, so did not even start where they're based out of today in Geneva, Switzerland, but we're going to get there and how they got there. The whole reason Hans Wilsdorf started Rolex, and if you ever get a chance to look it up, Hans Wilsdorf did not come from money. He came up a rags to riches story, and it was a truly inspiring story. Very cool to look up if you ever have some time, you want to look into it more. But Hans Wilsdorf was obsessed with, more so obsessed, but also had a vision for wristwatches at the time. The reason he did is because at the time in 1905, wristwatches by men and by society were genuinely, they were looked at as fragile. They weren't precise. They were more of a jewelry, more for women. Hans Wilsdorf did find, from what I looked into and found out, pocket watches, which were big at the time for men, he found them cumbersome. He wanted to be able to look at his wrist really quickly to figure out the time instead of having to stop what he was doing, put whatever in his hands were down, pull out his pocket watch and look at it and figure it out. His goal, which became an obsession and a vision, was to not only create a precise, reliable watch for men, but a rugged tool watch, which he did. So let's go into it a little bit. 1908, Rolex, the name came to be. Hans Wilsdorf wanted a name that was easy to pronounce in every single language, no matter what, and also wanted it to fit on the dial of his watches. He came up with the name in 1908 in the back of a horse-drawn buggy in London, England. Come around that time, coming into it, we start getting into World War I. Now, 1915, he started to look to, and actually started to move the company at that point to Switzerland. Not Geneva yet, but the reason being is post-wartime taxes that were implied by London, England on luxury goods, precious metals, things that Rolex was using for their watches, was a 33.3% import tax. Crazy. So to streamline the process, to help that out, Hans Wilsdorf said, all right, we're going to move over to Switzerland. come into, I believe it was 1920 when he founded and registered Rolex, or I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Rolex, if you are watching this video. If I'm not, forgive me. Montre Rolex SA, or Montre Rolex SA. Anyways, now let's talk about the achievements, the watches, the cool stuff, why we're here. Rolex. Hans Wilsdorf came out with the Oyster watch in 1926. The Oyster case, he designed, they patented that screw-down crown and the Oyster name. The Oyster name does come from the fact that if you look into it, oyster comes from, if you ever held an oyster or looked at one, tried to open up a live oyster or seafood, shellfish, you can't pry them open. Like, you won't. They're sealed tight, the Oyster case. So back then, he was obsessed with having a watch that not only was precise, but also was not going to get water in it, was going to be free of getting any kind of dust. The screw-in crown, the screw-down case back, the things he was utilizing was all for a reason. He also had access to very small, very precise Swiss watch movements, which is what they were importing initially to put in their watches. Now they do all their own in-house movements, but back then they were not. So let's go into 1926. The first Oyster watch, Oyster Perpetual, or not Perpetual, Oyster, we'll start there, was done. The Oyster watch, Hans Wilsdorf debuted that watch not in 1926, but he wanted to show the world. So in 1927, on a second round to prove she did it, redemption swim, her name is Mercedes, I believe, Gliese. She went to swim the second time across the English Channel and wore a gold Rolex Oyster watch case around her neck. When she made it halfway, she did not finish the swim. But when she did make it halfway and they pulled the watch out, it was still ticking and it was precise. Hans Wilsdorf took out front page ads. He actually, I believe as well, had his watch. He did actually, yes. He did have his watches in aquariums, in fish tanks, outside of retailers for people to see. So this was everywhere. Hans Wilsdorf showed the world that what he created, it was a waterproof watch. Come into World War I, trench times and everything, Rolex was actually used by the military. So initially, what some soldiers did, especially in World War I and front trench line warfare, was they were taking pocket watches and they were strapping them to their wrist. Looking into it, reason being is, and pretty dark, but you're in trench warfare and you have to pull a watch out for checking the time, whatever, and then I've never been in the Army, I've never been in a gunfight, but I meant you're dropping your gun, you're vulnerable. That's a fatal delay realistically, it's a fatal delay, guys. So the wristwatch and them doing that was to help prevent that. Rolex created wristlets and luminous dials for those guys. Rolex literally created wristlets and luminous dials to help prevent that, so they didn't have to constantly use the strapping method they started incorporating. Let's actually go ahead and get into some Rolex watches now. I love Rolex watches, guys. If you've ever... I personally haven't ever owned one. I've got some friends who've owned them, met a lot of people who've owned them, and especially the ones who've owned them for 10, 15, 20 plus years, that watch is the greatest tool watch to this day. Rolex makes the greatest tool watch and the most iconic watches, and just arguably some of the best watches ever built on our planet. I absolutely love Rolex, y'all. Some of their most famous models. I mean, we got to talk about them, right? That's why we're here. So let's go ahead and start from one of my personal favorites. Actually, just my personal favorite, the GMT Master 2. The GMT Master, that was created back in Rolex 1950s, I believe. I don't remember the exact date, but Pan Am actually approached Rolex to get a watch created for their pilots so they could track multiple time zones when flying. Hence, the GMT Master 2. The red and blue bezel you see and the 24-hour numbers, and the purpose of this watch is to track two different time zones at the same time. So, and what's pretty cool too is the red and the blue is to signify red is daytime, blue is nighttime. The bezel you can turn either way, but as you're flying, you have your local time, and you can set this fourth hand, as you see, as your 24-hour hand. It's going to make a rotation once every 24 hours in this watch. Rolex has released, as you see here as well, a couple of other GMT Masters. They have a huge lineup, and the GMT Master is, without a doubt, if not the most popular, one of the top most popular models from Rolex. The Submariner. I mean, like, you can't talk about Rolex without talking about the Submariner, guys. What are you going to say? This is the ultimate one-watch collection right here. Like, let's be real. Beautiful bracelet. It's simple. It's classic. It goes with literally every single thing. The black on black, I absolutely love it. And the dive watch itself, guys, I mean, you can swim with your watch. And if you're a scuba diver, take it down 1,000 feet. If you're not a scuba diver and you just want to swim in the pool and show off that your Rolex can get wet, get it wet, man. Whatever. Enjoy it, though. It's a fun, fantastic watch. Rolex Datejust. Like a quintessential Rolex, man. It's got your indices, as you see, just time-only watch. Or not time-only, sorry. Datejust is for a reason. They call it a Datejust, actually, because as you see, it's not time-only. It shows the date as well. So the date of the month. We do have some other really, really popular Rolex models I want to talk about as well. We've got the Daytona. Like, if you know Rolex, man, you know the Daytona. The chronograph, the one everybody wants. The Daytona is probably the most popular chronograph watch in the world. I'm not 100% sure, but this is just a guess. They're awesome, right? Daytonas. Let's check it out. First one. Bam! Daytona Panda. Reference number 1265500LN. This watch is sick. It's super, super simple. It's on the 3-link bracelet, as you see, guys. And I think it's a classic watch, man. Wear it up, wear it down, however. And the nickname, love it. My spirit animal, the Panda. The Rolex Panda, due to the white and black. One of my grill Rolexes right here. Bam! The Rolex Daytona Tiffany dial. Like, man, I cannot get enough of this watch. I can't. I love it. I want it so bad. It's going to be in my collection. Guys, like I said, I don't own a Rolex yet. Keyword, yet. I will get a Rolex. And by the time my son who's getting ready to be born here soon, is of age, I will have a full collection to pass down to him. I love watches. I can't wait to share that with him. But huge girl watch for me. Rolex Yachtmaster. I'll be honest, actually, I should have looked this one up a little more in terms of the purpose of this one, but I love the Oyster Flex bracelet. I will say that. And I think it's something, too, you can wear up, wear down. Again, I need to do a little more research on the purpose of this Yachtmaster 2 and everything versus the original Yachtmaster. But let's also talk about, like, one of the most, I think, like, quintessential Rolexes and just what defines Rolex and what they were a proprietor of. Bam! The Rolex Day-Date. This watch is super, super special. One, and I think the main reason this watch is so special is, again, the Day-Date. So this was the first watch ever to not only display both the date of the month and the day of the week, but not only displaying the day of the week, but in full Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no abbreviations. And at 12 o'clock midnight, the watch, everything jumps at once. It's a super, super cool thing to see. And every single one of these watches is only made in a precious metal, whether it's gold, white gold, rose gold, platinum, you name it. But that's all they're made in. And they do come on this absolutely gorgeous 3-link bracelet. You will not see that bracelet on any other Rolex. Guys, and this, I did mention earlier, I want to finish with this. Again, I know I really don't drink my beer too much. I do really enjoy beer, just so y'all know. I get so, I love watches. And Rolex is a really, really dear one to me, even though I don't own a Rolex right now. And Rolex, if you're watching this too, if anyone from Rolex can see this, I do have somebody over there. I'm not going to throw your name out there, but I did speak with over in corporate. And I just want to say thank you again. Again, I'm James Vance. I know we spoke for a little bit, and it was a genuine pleasure to speak with you. Guys, I'm not going to go again too into it, but I did have a situation a little while back where one of my ultimate grail watches that I have to buy, that I want to buy, that Rolex has discontinued, of course, probably their most popular, if not most popular, one of their most popular models ever, the Pepsi GMT Master 2. I had a question about this watch, and I'm just going to let you guys know right now. You see me on my porch. I'm not a guy who can go to the store tomorrow to Rolex and say, I'm ready to buy it, throw me on the list. I'm not there. I've got a life. We've got a baby on the way. I'm just not there. But I will figure it out, and I will get that watch. I emailed Rolex on that watch. Just a question about, hey, I know you're getting ready to possibly discontinue it, and just also expressed to them how much I love their watch, how much I love their company. And when I tell you the response, I didn't even expect to get a response, but I not only got a response, I got so much more. I'm going to just be clear, too. Rolex did not send me anything. I don't have any gifts from Rolex. They didn't send me anything. But they reached back out to me on more than one occasion and communicated with me. Again, I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to stop here. But Rolex, when it comes to their brand, their customer service, their customers, and dude, I can only imagine being an actual Rolex customer, because the customers who, I'm not even a customer yet, but who I will be. It was amazing, man. It was absolutely, it was amazing. I just can't describe it. I don't want to lose my crap, lose my shit here with a bunch of cuss words. But dude, it was freaking, I'm just going to say it actually, Rolex, dude, you're fucking awesome. You guys, y'all rock, man. Love you guys, Rolex. New Belgium, Voodoo Ranger, banger. Thank you guys so much again. This is definitely the longest video I've done up until this point, but if you stay tuned up until this point again, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Please, if you like what you see, hit a follow, hit the subscribe. As you see, just hit the follow, man. You don't pay or anything. It's free. I'm doing these videos, so let's have some fun. Have a great night, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all. Cheers.